All righty then. Here we are on Friday Live and Mail Call. I'll leave it to John to give me my sound check. I'm pretty confident it's okay because I've been chatting away with my co-host. So, and I think I said hi to everybody, but hi. So, hey, hi. Uh, don't know how long the lag is. Audio check's good. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. All right. This week I've just piddled and piddled and piddled. All right, on different little things. I was just getting ready to show one of my projects to my co-host. So let me bring him on up, and we'll see if anybody can guess what this is.
Good morning, all.
Anybody guess what this is and what I would use it for?
Looks like you're waiting something.
It is, just to give you an idea, 9 inches long, which is about 64 square scale feet, NHL. A load of coils. No. Do it again. It's just washers. All right, that I've taken some DAP Quick Seal and adhered it to this piece of basswood. All right. An ice platform. No, I already got one of those, right? Well, hell, you can't see it because the drop down's down.
Good thing you weren't running trains.
Ice platform's right over here. Actually, you can't see it. It's off camera. You can see the ice. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it. Hey, Lee. Hey, Jack. I got to do my mixed consist for Jack's challenge. Hey, Jason. Happy Friday.
Good morning, Jason, and all the Johns. And Jack.
Jason's been trying to convince me to pre-order some Walther's Proto E-units, CB&Q E-units, and I had to explain to him. Hell, I got 2 in the cabinet back there that I still have to put Tsunami decoders in. So, no, I don't need any more of those.
You always need more. Come on.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 CB&Q E-units. Plus, I have a Pennsy E-unit and a Baltimore, Ohio E-unit.
Well, you got me there, Steve. I've only got 1 E-unit.
Well, you're lacking. You need to pre-order.
Yeah,
one of those photos.
Yeah, but they don't have them in CNEI, so.
Yes, okay, change railroads. A Zephyr was diverted.
That's true. I can expand some. I can do Wabash, or I could do Missouri Pacific, because they
Illinois Central.
New York or Illinois Central. Yeah, I've thought about that. But I've got too many. I've got a lot of trains already. A lot of engines.
Engines that I'm missing right now. I could use some CB&Q graybacks. Anybody know what a grayback is?
No.
That's the question of the day. Along with what these are.
And There's my E unit.
I thought you said you didn't have any E units.
No, I said I have one E unit,
Oh, okay, okay.
and that's it.
What brand? What brand is that?
That is a Para Broadway Limited
Oh,
Paragon. I think this is a 3.
Paragon
Uh,
2.
uh,
Probably a 2. I don't
yeah,
think they
maybe
did them in 3s.
it's an old one,
It may
but
just be a Paragon.
it could
One.
be. It's a Quantum, if that makes a difference. Can't read it.
Bernard. Graybacks are not some of the grayback.
Oh, and that one does run
Oh,
nice. I have run it before.
Jack. 25 years ago when I went to the Oklahoma City train show, it was pretty good. But again, that was 25 years ago when I lived in Oklahoma City. All right, Jason. Ding, 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 ding is the winner. Actually, they started out. They bought some F units when the Zephyr was moving away from the prototype Zephyrs, which were the unit train type ones. And they started the California Zephyr and their other Zephyrs, and they switched. They bought a series of F units to run the Zephyrs with. Well, they found out that they had to have like ABBAs to have enough horsepower and electrical power. So they opted to go with E units where they only needed to have 2, I think, for the long distance ones, because Burlington didn't have mountains to climb, okay, per se. So they switched all the passenger service over to E units in the early 50s, and they took the stainless or chrome, whatever, F units, painted them all gray, and used them for freight service.
So those are called graybacks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So when you see a stainless or chrome or whatever California Zephyr with F units on it, and somebody says, "Yeah, this is from the late '50s," wrong answer. Not if they're prototype. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a prototype modeler. I don't care. It's a railroad. They can say whatever they want, but they didn't exist in the late '50s. Okay. Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about, Jason. How you and I were talking earlier in the week, and how I don't need any more E units, let alone
Now,
CB and Q. If I was going to get more E units,
if they come out with some CNEI ones, I'm gonna have to get it.
If I got any more, it'd be Chicago Northwestern or Milwaukee Road.
As I was telling Steve earlier, I didn't get anything done on my railroad this week. I was outside working on my tractors. It's tractor service time. Getting ready for the summer. Of course, I worked that little Kubota tractor almost to death. Had 135 hours on it, clearing some of my land. Yeah. And I got more work out of it than it should have done.
Hey, Kyle. That's what mine are. Mine are the old, the E8s are the protos from the 90s. E7s are from 2000s because they're DCC. They came DCC ready. The proto one is, yeah. And then I have a Bachmann E7. And I have one of the new Rapido E9s, which is E8, but it's a bigger power plant in it where it could generate more electricity for the passenger cars, for the commuter passenger cars. They still had to run consists for the E-units for the interstate passenger trains. So anyway.
Jason, I will check out that video, see if they are doing the CNEI.
I didn't see it, but check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't watched.
So nobody knows what this is yet? Gosh. Man. I would have bet money nobody would get it. Now I can't remember where I put what I was going to put. Oh, there it is. All right. So.
And Anthony just came in.
Hey, Anthony. Everybody remember Anthony Dodge 330 today? It's a skateboard, yeah. No. Okay. I've got a couple of these little thin cameras that I do cab rides and stuff with, but they're also great to get into Union Station on the platforms and such. And the one of the two, this one, is magnet. Whoa! If it still works after that.
Yeah.
It's magnetic. So this piece, after I paint it, is going to be adhered up underneath, above the platforms, so that the camera can be situated underneath there. Because now that the platform has people on it, there's no good place to set it down in. All right. But this will allow me to get some good station shots. And I'm going to put them in different places. That's why I got, so far, 4 of them.
Steve, I can't remember. Are those cameras Wi-Fi, or do you have to wire them?
I have one that's Wi-Fi, but I have not, I've got multiple cameras that are Wi-Fi, and none of them have I been able to hook up to this computer via Wi-Fi. All right. They all have an app. All right. Manicam has the ability to hook in a Wi-Fi and or IP cameras, and I cannot get it. People want to know why I don't do Arduinos, because I don't want to do the programming. I can't figure out the programming just to get this hooked up on the Wi-Fi. So if it's not an easy thing where you do a QR code and it does it automatically, I don't want to mess with it.
Well, I've only got one camera, and it's pretty stationary.
Yeah, I just put this one. Matter of fact, I have a series. Well, hell, I have a series. Let's do this one just for John. Mystic John.
Which one?
Yeah. No, Mystic John. Nope, not that. Yeah, that's what I want. There. I don't have it. Huh. Let's add it, shall we? And I want to add music. And wonder where I put it. That's the biggest. Let's see if it's in here. Well, there it is. Oh, shit. Okay. Somebody watch John, watch the watch, because if I do this for more than 15 seconds, I get up a creek. Hang on, it's still processing.
Ray says he got a fake fish for his pond, and it's a decoy.
Okay, this is for Mystic. Here we go. We're going to have a new series on passenger trains, and this is going to be the lead-in music. There's a better place to. How do I do that? Oh, I know. Maybe. Hang on. Let's go here. And then I go here maybe. And then I go sound files. No. Yes.
Maybe you have too many cameras.
No, I'm not. I'm. All right, where'd it go? How come they're not here? They're not. Oh, because it's not doing. Shoot. You'll just have to wait for it. Anyway, it's the song "Ride, Ride, Ride" by Foghat, and it's too many roads to travel, too many trains to ride. To the tune that played a second ago. So, anyway, here. Oh, I know how I can do it. Jump back again. I know how I can do it. Yeah, I just hope it. I don't know if the music's going to turn out or not, but we're going to find out. It should be down here. There it is. Hopefully the sound will play. It might not. Doesn't sound like it's playing.
Nope, don't hear anything.
Shoot. All right. Sorry about that.
I can't tell you how long it took me to realize the tip of the day. The passenger car tipping over. I don't know why that just went right straight over my head.
I guess when Heath was in the stream last Friday or the Friday before, he even mentioned you only have one train derailment. So, yeah, only one that tipped like that. But I had the camera running on.
I remember the engine going off into the turntable pit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got one that went off the layout. You've seen that one.
Yeah. Isn't that one of your E units that you're having to rebuild?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't tend to do well once they hit the floor.
Yeah, it's a parts engine now. This is what's left of it.
I have really started to like the old Proto 2000s. I mean, I've got several of them, and I love the weight of the engine.
And it's a smooth mechanism.
They just seem to work real well. And don't they have the Kato drives in them? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I always thought they were a knockoff of Athearns.
Well, I know I had one that was a Proto 2000 that I made into a CNEI B unit, because I had a B unit that was a dummy, and I took all the parts out of the A unit, Proto 2000 A unit, and put them in the B unit that
Hey, Ben.
Was not Proto 2000, but it all fit and it all worked.
Yeah. It's the key to the protos is that weight. I mean, they have incredible pulling power.
Yes. Yeah. Uh, they're a good engine. I mean, the ones
Yeah.
I find I pick up because you just compared to the newer ones, they're good, solid, reliable engines.
I'm going to switch to the overhead view
The
just for you.
Stewarts, Bernard, you're correct. The Stewarts had the Kato Power, which is another older brand that I really like. Also,
And
I've got.
didn't Atlas have some that were Kato drives?
I believe so.
I think they
Oh,
were.
who that is?
Okay.
But
John,
yeah,
this is for you.
sometimes you just can't beat these older engines. They may be a little bit harder to get DCC ready, but they still work.
Yep.
Is that a steam engine taking off?
It is.
All right.
We'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
Is that your excursion train? Well, it's someplace. I hear it. Must be
It's
a big
coming.
mountain.
It's coming. Hey, Ray.
I guess eventually. Jason, I don't think I've ever seen an Atlas yellow box. How old
There
are
you go,
they?
John.
Oh, yeah. There she goes.
What was that, John?
I don't know. Was that a 462?
No.
No. I couldn't quite see it, Steve.
Well, it's coming back. Here it comes. See it coming out of the underground there. It's going back into the underground by Union Station. And you see this thing. This is another thing I piddled with. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how hard it was to hold the tablet?
Yeah.
Well, this thing lifts off and can be moved around anywhere I want it. So I use this during JNRI ops for the manifest. Okay, and then I have enough room on there to put my throttle.
Yeah, that's nice.
You didn't look and see what that engine was, did you?
No, I guess too far away. I can't see it close enough.
All right, I'll change cameras and stop it where you can see it. Well, it stopped. Pilot. All right. All right, let me switch cameras for you. There you go. So Can you tell what it is?
Nah, it's still too far away. All the drivers look blurry. I can't count them. Yeah, now you're going off screen. Yeah, the camera resolution, I just can't make anything out there, Steve. So you're gonna have to tell us.
John, what's my other steam locomotive?
282.
I only have two. No.
210-2.
There you go.
Well, I can't see it. And it made it around? Well, no, you had the front go off.
It'll make it around. It was going all morning.
Yeah, until you go live. See, even Jason says you need a better camera angle.
I have a choice. Buy train stuff or buy cameras. Need a better camera angle? Yeah, okay. I can do that. Let's back the train up. Instead of back the truck up, we'll back the train up. And we'll change camera angles yet again.
It was a 210-2, Jason.
I'll change this camera angle for
right there. Right there. Where are you going? Yep. Forward some. Okay. Yeah, now I can see it's a 210-2, yes. I love my 210-2. That's why I changed the radii on my turns to over 30 inches so it will go around it. Let's see if I can.
Every time I run a steam engine, all I can think of is the Petticoat Junction music.
Oh, yeah.
But
coming down the track at the junction.
I would venture a guess, Ray, that this one's running around on some 20-inch radio.
Yeah, my former radio was 23, and I just never could get it to go around the corner. I mean, did fine every place else, but...
Well, this is my shelf queen. I haven't run it for months, probably 6 months, just because I could never get it to run around the way. And I said, well, what the hell? I've been doing a lot of track tuning. And I said, let me get it out and see where it's at.
So
lo and behold, it made it around the first time.
Ray says he has a 210-2 that runs on a 22-inch radius. Mine was 23, and it just didn't want to go around that. But
yeah, this is a Proto 2000 Heritage unit.
Yeah,
the 210-2s were commonly referred to as Santa Fe's, because Santa Fe is the one that used them the most.
Steve, you're not looking. I'm showing.
So what? Oh, yeah. There you go. What brand's that?
That's a Proto Heritage.
Oh, okay. So it's the same one, just different road name.
But it came as this box is wrong because it says it's a 288 2, which we know that's not it. It just the wrong box.
Well, you got a
This
Challenger,
one,
Jason? Oh, okay, Ray. Now, I thought those AHMs would run on 20 inch.
now, Steve, does yours have the cable that goes up to the bell in the front?
Yep.
Yeah. They're
The
pretty
bell fell off,
detailed
but yeah.
models.
The pilot came off again.
And yes, I did change the tender to CNEI. So it's all ready. All we gotta do is get the rest of the track ready. That's not much to do, right? It ran on
Okay,
an
hi.
18. It ran on an 18-inch radius, Ray. That's you must have had something special then, because I
No, the
know mine was.
AHMs were geared towards the train set persona. Toy trains for kids,
Okay,
basically.
so it was an AHM that he had. I
Yeah,
didn't see that. Okay.
because there's an AHM 484 Burlington out there on eBay. It's been out there forever because they were only $199 for the damn thing. Went through that too fast.
Well, you need to
And
clean your
anyway,
track.
huh?
Do you need to clean your
No,
track or something?
No. I
No?
need to slow the engine down. I got some filing to do on that track back there. It bumps a little bit, and if I'm going too fast, it'll bump it off the track.
Yeah, I can't wait to run all my steam. Of course, I still got quite a few decoders I need to buy. And I got some drive gears to replace. But, oh well, it's fun.
Yeah, I've got three decoders I gotta buy. Yeah, buy one cheap Digitrax and two Tsunami 2s.
I found out when and if I get my pre-ordered GP7s, they are DCC ready with 21 pin decoder adapters. So those will probably be my first 21 pin. Everything else has been 8 or 9 pin. And most of them I've had to wire. I've only got a few that are actual drop-ins. Which are so much easier, simpler to put those in.
The drop-ins, yeah.
I know I've got my new VO660, which I'm using currently as my little test engine on my track. Just running it on DC, and it runs nice though. And it's an old Stewart.
I only got
And
one Stewart. I got a F3 B unit. That's a Stewart.
I've got a ABA set of F3s, Stewart, and then I've got the two VO660s, which actually the CNEI only had one VO660, but it's my railroad, so I don't care. Um, they're good little switches. So the one that's I've already got that's DCC, it runs tremendously well. Has absolutely no problem with turnouts, switches, whatever you want to call them. But again, those Stewarts are just real nice engines.
All right, Anthony. We'll talk to you later. I'll be dropping in.
After nap
Jason said,
time.
"Welcome to the club, John," but I don't know what club he's talking about.
Yeah. Is it the club of having steam engines?
Needing more,
I've got plenty of them.
or needing more decoders.
Oh, needing well, that could be that too, or drive gears. Luckily, since I have so many of these engines, the 282 Mikados from Athearn, I know how to work on them. Usually, I like to buy them when they say they don't work, because usually it's one of two things: it's either the drive gear or where the connection to the chassis back underneath the cab. I don't know if they just didn't solder the wire to the rings properly, but I've found several of them that wire's disconnected, so it doesn't have its ground. And all I've done is fix that, and engine works fine. So
yeah, I had bought one, and the quartering was messed up. The drive gears were messed up, and I just sent it back.
yeah, they're not. Oh, okay. Jason said needing to install many decoders. Yes.
Mini decoders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I bought that GP30 from Caboose Stop. It was in my last package, and the last one I opened last week. And I need a cheapo decoder for it. And I'm debating whether I really need sound, because it's going to be part of the concept. We'll see.
Yeah. Sound decoders for 20 plus locos. Yeah, that's I may not need 20. I know I need over 10.
Let's see. At $150 a pop with the speaker, at least, for your Tsunami 2s.
See, I'm not.
At least you know how to install them, Jason.
I'm not real particular on the decoders myself. I've got everything from the old, the MCR decoders that was being sold by another company called XL Trains, I think, or XL something, that were $30 a piece.
This one's got a QSI. I have 1, 2, 3 with QSI decoders. My Jeep, not Jeep, my U28.
I found that I get decent enough sound out of the cheaper decoders. I have noted several of them, they have flaws in them where they short out.
Well, my Walther is ready to run SW2, I think it is. It's got a QSI decoder on it, and the horn won't work. And I've been in there trying to program and remap, and still can't get it right.
Yeah. Jack 2 is QSI in the trash.
I hear you, Jack. It's It's better to have a QSI in there than none.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not. ESU low sound 5s are nice decoders. All right. And I've got two with those in it. The problem is I'd rather have Tsunami 2s in. I don't like the fact that you have to have a low sound programmer. That just chaps my ass. That I can't program them on JMRI like I do every other one of my locals.
Yeah. I saw a little comic in my Train Club newsletter. The guy was going up to the register. He was buying an engine and all the other stuff. The engine, $60. All the detail parts and decoder, $365.
Yeah.
So you can at least say, yeah, the engine didn't cost much, but when you put all those additional parts on there, and you got your decoder, and
I tell you what, Kyle, if you put a Paragon 4 decoder in it with a power pack or whatever they call it, whatever BLI calls them, they'll be fine. But the Paragon 3, the boards that were originally in the Paragon 3s are trash. I agree with you 100%. But when BLI, after going through 4 decoders, finally, or 3, going through 3, the 4th decoder, they upgraded it to the Paragon 4 board and put a power pack in it, and never had a problem with it since.
Now that's kind of one thing I need to add to all my engines, are the power pack. Maybe if I do my track work well enough, maybe I won't need it.
Yeah.
DC.
Jack, I've heard that from other people too about TCS and their Steam sound files being the best.
I do have a few soundtracks decoders, and yes, they're excellent decoders. It's more of a financial thing with the number of engines I have. Can I afford to do all soundtracks? Right now, no, I can't.
Yeah.
So I just.
Well, that's why. I've got everything's up and running, and I figure if I buy one Tsunami 2 every so often, and at least upgrade my E units. The problem, I got mad at George. I made a suggestion that the decoder reference table, what decoder to use for what engines. They've got 2 different EMD decoders, pre-programmed decoders. And I said it would be nice if your reference table said, okay, I need a Burlington E9 or E8 decoder. Okay? And they would tell me what it is. And their response was, well, that's up to the modeler to do the research and find out. Well, you know what? I disagree with that mentality. And that's why I want a Tsunami decoder. All right. But if they want to sell me a Tsunami decoder, they got to tell me the one I need. Okay. and yeah, I can go look up what prime mover was in the thing and what the options were. I can look up all that stuff. The problem is I don't want to look up all that stuff because I got to look up what the decoder is too, right? And they could make it easier for the purchaser to purchase the right decoder. And it was a suggestion, a marketing suggestion, uh, and I anyway, that just pissed me off.
Well, that's the way it goes sometimes, Steve. Uh,
Yeah, I got a couple with economy decoders in it, and they're fine. I don't have a problem with them. They don't have all the bells and whistles of Tsunami 2, and I know they're not Tsunami 2s. I don't make those false comparisons. Uh, uh,
but
and I know what the shortfalls are. But hey,
if you look at it, Steve, who really uses all those different options in these high dollar decoders?
Not many people. The
And
reason I'll tell you what I like
them.
about the Tsunamis is I really like that. I think it falls under the dynamic function where depending on the amperage draw, in other words, going up a grade, it will increase the sound, so to speak, to simulate the engine working harder to go up to bring turn it up the grade. And I think that's great. And it does it automatically.
Yeah,
I just think that's a cool function.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Wiggy, we'll see you later. It may be junk, Jason, but it's cheap junk. And it's better to have it when you can't afford to go out and buy a T2 right away.
Yeah, and as I said, a lot of mine are really junk. But at the moment, that's all I have to do. And if I wanted to run it on my track, I needed a DCC chip in there. So I found a place where I could get quite a few for, I could get 5 for the price of one Tsunami. And if they work just to move them around the track and they sound decent, I put a pretty good soundtrack speaker in them. And no, they're not perfect, but they work.
Yeah,
now, if I had money,
I'm of the opinion it's better to have a cheap working one than not have anything, and you can't run the thing.
Right, correct. That's the way I feel. Now, if I had the money, would I go out and buy Tsunami 2s for every one of them? Yes, but some of us aren't rich like Jason that can just go out and buy what he wants. Some of us old retired guys are, on fixed incomes, and there's only so much extra money a month to do with my train stuff.
Jack, I think I have one local with an old MRC decoder in it. And for the life of me, I can't remember which one it is.
Well, these decoders I'm talking about were old MRC. This company bought out the rights to it or something, and they it's XL something. But as I say, they work. I don't have any. I've had one problem with it, but I was trying to modify the chip myself to make it so I could plug in the speaker so I didn't have to hardwire it in. And I got too much solder on it and shorted it out. My fault, I wasn't paying enough attention to them. I don't remember a China company that was advertising some. I was trying to think offhand what
Well,
I.
Jason, if I had if I counted all the ones I want to replace, all right, we're upwards of like 20 at least. Um, I'm just talking about. I got three. Yeah, three. The GP 30, and then the two E9 E8s, and then I've got a bunch of other stuff like hell, my little Tyco 40 ton. If I wanted to put a decoder in it, my trolley, if I wanted to switch that over to DCC, I don't care. Um,
And the
I've
ones
got
I.
a, I want,
Go ahead.
I've got a hopper, a cement hopper. I might ship you this one, Jason. This cement hopper. I'll have to change the wheels out though. And have you slice the top off, or I can slice the top off. But anyway, have you make this a sound car, because the little Hustler, that tiny little Walters Hustler I have, of course, doesn't have. It's got power. It's got a equalizer in it, but it doesn't have a power pack. So I was thinking about putting the sound in this thing.
Hmm. And the company I was talking about is called Excel Systems Incorporated, and they're out of Homedale, New Jersey. But they have like Keep Alive for $6.50,
You
and
notice how this 210 is going around without any help from me now, John?
I noticed that. Yeah.
It just has to be at the right speed. As long as I don't try to make it go too fast, it does fine.
Yeah.
And I say that, and guess what? The pilot popped off.
And Jason, don't worry. Just don't be like me. I have a 31-year-old that eats me out of house and home.
I'm telling you, John, you should have done what I did.
I know. Well,
I told my kids from day one, from the time they were in grade school, hey, if you don't go to college, the day you graduate high school, you're out. If you go to college, the day you graduate college, you're out.
mm-hmm.
So the first one graduated college, had a job, already had been working full time for Marriott, got an immediate promotion to manager status. The next one comes along. We're at her commencement ceremony. I said, well, now what are you going to do, Jody? She goes, well, I thought I'd come home. I said, nope, ain't happening. And I said, what's your plan B? And my wife hit me and said, you better listen to her. And I said, all right, what are you going to do, Jody? What do you want to do? She goes, well, I wanted to come home for a year to study to take my LSAT so I could go to law school. And I said, okay, you can come home. And then my son had a job waiting for him, of course, when he graduated from Tennessee Tech with subsidiary of Nissan, Telsonic, something like that. All right, what's it doing now?
Yes, Jack, $6.50. They're Keep Alive. They got a drop-in EMD sound decoder for most Atlas, Athearn, and Intermountains for $37. Got a 8-pin decoder for $38 with the speaker. But just remember, you get what you pay for. So they're not perfect, but We need
I can't
large
read it, 6 feet.
quantities. There's a HODCC Steam sound only decoder, $25. But they are old MRC decoders, is what they are.
I'm gonna stop saying how good it's running. Because every time I say it, put the link up in chat for what?
Oh, for the decoders, I don't know how to do that. It's just type in XL Systems Incorporated.
The Iron Planet Hobbies. If you use Heath's discount code human, you go to Iron Planet Hobbies. You can get an 8-bit sound Digitrax cheap-ass decoder. Comes with the speaker and everything. And I want to say it's like $38. Free shipping. Can't hardly beat it with a stick.
Yeah, Jack, the problem is when I'm in Streamline, I can't put comments in chat. All I can do is private chat with Steve. Could you move it over to the general chat, Steve, if I send it to you in private chat?
You don't have YouTube on?
No, I can't play both at the same time. So no, I'm just watching the comments. And
You send me a link. I can get it in chat.
Okay.
Don't send it in a message. Send it in an email.
Okay. I'll do that right now. Copy. Email. Reply.
Hell, this
Okay.
210-2's run more today than it has in 3 years that I've had it.
I just sent you that in an email, Steve.
All right. Let me look at it.
Yes, Jason, I can watch on my phone also. That's what I generally do. Just didn't have it on today. I know Jason's Mr. Perfect, but not me.
All right, here's the link.
And as I say, on those you get what you pay for. But they've worked. I've had trouble with one or two. I've sent them back to them, and they've sent me new ones.
And they're still in business?
They're as of last time I ordered was about a year ago. They still come up on the internet as in business.
Huh.
And they sell other things too. But I think they're drop-in decoders. I think I put that in that Stewart VO 66.
So I've never heard of these guys.
Huh. Yeah, they're cheap. They're cheap, but no.
So are their speakers. The speakers probably sound like shite.
The speakers aren't bad, but I usually will put a small cube speaker in instead of the ones that come with them. Um, some of the speakers they actually mount to the board with double-sided ring tape. Of course, I always take them off and remount them.
Yeah, their speakers. I mean, the coders are reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're any good or not. Never had one, but
Well, Jason, there can be many freaks. It depends on what you're talking about at the time.
hey, Edward, welcome. And John, did you have any mail calls this week?
No, I didn't have any. I was hoping to get one in from Mini Prints, but it did not show up yet. I'll probably get it this afternoon.
I
It's not my monthly one. It's I did an actual order.
those 8 1 foot square styrene sheets that I had, I'm down to one left. And when I pulled it out to look at it again, I thought it was a 0.04 or 40 or 41 thousandths, whatever. Anyway, 4/100. But it was actually a 0.06 millimeter, and I was wondering why it was so hard to cut. So anyway, I went ahead and reordered, and Amazon delivered it yesterday. At least I assume that's what this is. Because for a change, I haven't already opened it because I really didn't need it yet. To me, it looks to be the same thickness, but it's not. Sure. So I only ordered 4 sheets this time because I'm going to try the files you sent me, John, for the 2-story and the 3-story buildings.
Yeah.
I'm going to try putting those on these styrene sheets.
See how
cut out the window openings.
Right.
And try making them. I still have. I need to buy one more City Classics kit for Chicago, and I'm debating. I have 2 existing right now, and I want to double up on one and make it one building, just twice as wide, and then do the other one. And there's going to be a gap between the 2, and I want to use the files you sent either as is the width, because I don't know what the width's going to end up being. But it may be nothing more than like an alleyway door. And anybody that's been to the original Uno's Pizzeria in Chicago, it was basically built in an alley, and it's real long and narrow. Or was. I haven't been there in 20 years now. But that's kind of what I'm looking at doing there.
Yeah. And Jack, they have sound decoders for $35.
Yeah, Jack, if you go to Iron Planet Hobbies, and they have Digitrax sound decoders. 8-bit, I think, is like, with Heath's discount, and free shipping, it's like $38. And I think it's under $50 for the 16-bit. Granted, they're cheap decoders. They're not the sound file. You can upgrade the sound files using their sound loader files library, and I've done that, and it improves it. But their speakers are shite. Drop in a couple of scale sound system speakers,
Hmm.
which are probably the best I've heard out there. I am amazed. I won't say it. I won't say it. John, when you were here, all right, I couldn't get that to go around the flat.
No, you couldn't. That's why I never brought mine over because you always had trouble with yours. But that,
Well, and I've done a lot of work, track work, since then. You know, Thomas Split Rock uh, had the best advice ever. If you got a problem, pursue it relentlessly. Okay? It could be any number of issues with the locomotive or rolling stock. It could be track issues, you know, and you just have to keep at it. I've got a number. My RS3, my Bachmann RS3, will not go around because the truck clearance isn't sufficient,
huh,
isn't large enough.
I'm
For
surprised
my
RS3 won't.
it's for the changes in grades.
Mm.
It gets hung up. So
Was the fuel tank hangs up?
no, the bottom
No.
of the truck, the gear cover.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Jack, I think I've only lost probably 3 decoders so far. Luckily, 2 of them I've sent back to the manufacturers, and they've sent me new ones. Both, I know I did one soundtracks that I lost, sent back in. I got it, and one of the Digitracks I had issues with, and it took them a while, but they actually replaced it. And I'm gonna say the one MRC or the XL Systems one that went bad. They did replace that one too. I guess I've had pretty good luck with the decoder manufacturers backing their products. Um,
Well, I sent a Digitrax decoder back. Packed it up, sent it back, and I got a phone call from them. We got your letter, but there was no decoder in it. And I was going, I'm saying, no, that's wrong. I said, there was one in it when it left here. I said, if it was sealed when it got there, then take a look. Whoever opens up these packages, it's laying around somewhere. No, sir, we don't have it. And I said, fine. It's the last one I'll buy. And it wasn't, but I can take solace in the fact that that's what I told him.
yeah.
It's, there's no hassle warranty. Well, there's no hassle warranty is a hassle.
Yeah.
Is that the one you did, Jason? I remember when you melted one about a year and a half or so ago, and you were going to send it back and wasn't sure whether they were going to cover it or not.
Yeah, I had one that I was running that actually started smoking, and luckily I didn't damage the shell in it.
Well, my GP9 Phase 2 Burlington that I bought on eBay, I got it, and one of the sides was melted on it. Now, you can't tell it. I remotored it, and it runs like a champ now. But it was, and the guy, in fairness to the guy that was selling it, he did say that it needed work. I just didn't realize it needed that much.
Yeah. Um, I've got I've had pretty good luck on eBay buying things. It, I'd say a good 95% of them have been exactly what they advertised. Um, I got one of my 282s that when I got it, the whole front end was smashed on it. The cow catcher, the boiler front was off. There's stairs were broken. Um, so I wrote the guy. He says, "Well, it wasn't like that when I mailed it." I said, "Well, but this is the way it came in." He says, "Well, you need to apply for the insurance." I said, "I need to. It's under
Well,
your
he
name."
needs to. He's the one that.
Yeah, he's the one that mailed it. So,
Well,
I mean, I mailed it back to him, and supposedly there was more broken on it when it got back to him. And I packed it the same way he did, and sent back. He refused to refund my money. I had to go through eBay to get that done. I mean, so needless to say, I would never buy from that guy again. And it's funny, my bad rating sort of
uh,
vanished off of his site. Um, so just because you give
yeah.
somebody a bad rating doesn't mean it's actually going to show up on their site. But that's the only one. I have had no problems with anybody else. I knew exactly what I was getting. I've bought beat up 282 engines just for parts. And of course I paid parts price. I knew what I was ordering. I knew what I was going to get. Parts now I got to admit, a couple of the parts engines I ordered, I was able to figure out what was wrong with them and get them running. So, but I said a lot of times it's the drive gear or it's that one connection that comes loose on the back left hand side of the engine, right under where the cab is. It's hard to get to, but I got to it.
Yeah, if you can work on your own stuff, save a lot of money.
Oh yeah, definitely. And a lot of places they don't even want to work on steam engines, especially like doing drive gear. It's a lot of work to get those drive gears out. Then you got to remember to make sure that the drive gears are that quarter rotation opposite
Yeah,
of
the
each other.
quartering's the hard part.
And what I do is I try to take pictures of them prior to taking them apart, and then try to get it back to the exact same location. I've a couple of them I've had to readjust. Um, because what the problem is, if you don't have that quarter rotation, when you run your engines, they wobble as they go down the track. That's the difficult
If
part.
they, a lot of times they'll just lock up.
Well, or that too, but most of the time I've had them close enough that they would still run. Yeah, I think of it as a full half rotation out. Um, it would lock up.
I'm gonna have to get inside my roundhouse,
Clean some track.
clean some crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that thing's run all morning, so I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, Jason. If the engine isn't DCC ready, I could see where steam would be very difficult. With these Athearn 282s, to get the boiler off, you have to you have to remove the cab, and then you have to take off all the detail parts. Then to get the shell with the boiler and the internal parts of the cab, you actually have to go in the back and pry that end of the cab up over the frame of the engine to get that off. And I had to look up online. I found a step-by-step uh, method of repairing the 282s, and it was very good. And it wasn't from Athearn. Well, I guess the original was from Athearn, but then the guy added his own extra steps into the process, and it all makes sense, and it all was right on when you were doing it. So uh, that's how I learned to do it. I was hoping there would be some YouTube video on it, but I couldn't find anything close to doing the repairs that I had to do.
I just got a message from Lynn saying, "Oops, today's Friday."
Yeah, today's Friday.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
But I really enjoy working on engines. I know a lot of guys don't feel that they can do it, but I would tell them, get you an old used engine that maybe doesn't run and work on it. See what you can do to it. Then if you mess it up, well, you messed up a cheap engine that didn't run anyway. But
yeah, just do a Athearn Blue Box. Any one of them.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to start working on them. I wouldn't dive into a steam engine first.
No, I wouldn't. I have no desire to work on a steam engine.
I've installed decoders on most of mine, and anywhere from hardwired to existing plugs on there. It's all stuff you can do, but practice. If you got some expensive engines and you don't want to work on them yet, get an old Athearn Blue Box. They're all over the place. You can get them for cheap. A lot of times the shipping's more than the engine itself.
Okay, Lee, thank you. I didn't get a link for last Sunday, and then without the link, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, quartering is it'll get you every time.
Yes. Yeah.
It'll bump along. If it goes, it'll bump along. Most times it'll lock up.
Yeah, that's what's good about having cell phones. Take pictures of locations and try to match them when you put it back together.
Absolutely.
I got probably 5 more I need to replace. I've got the gears for them already. I found them at Northwest Shortline, and I bought 8 of them. But boy, they're $12 a piece for a little tiny gear.
Ooh! I figured out how to do something.
What?
Okay, here. Remember when I was trying to get the music?
Yes.
Let me try this.
Yeah, that's good,
There you
Steve.
go. All
Yeah.
right. I'd already set it up, and I didn't remember. See what H
Getting
does?
old.
I know it. Because there's about 3 or 4 different ways you could try to do it, and of course, none of the ones I tried worked. And I just stumbled across that one. So that's going to be the new. After I get done with Chicago, which I still
If you
have the
ever get
train sheds.
to
And well, I just have the train sheds and the building back there for the most part. Then I got some detailing to do. I got to repaint the trolleys and but I'm just talking about of the major kit stuff that I got to do.
well, I can for those of you who have not been watching Steve for a long time. When the last time I ran trains there, that area was nothing but gray plywood, and he had some vehicles up there, and it usually was just full of all his working tools.
Tools. Yeah.
So, yes, he's made big changes in the. See, this is May, so I haven't been there in what
Had I started? Had
15
I even
months.
started Aurora yet?
Yes, you had some up there,
Okay. I was in the
but
middle of Aurora. Okay.
yeah, not many. Think it was what's the plant at the end there? Uh,
The cement plant.
the cement plant you had. It was there,
Yeah, that was the first
and
one,
I
and then
remember.
the next one was the flour mill.
I think the flour mill you did after I left.
Okay. How about the cold storage?
No, I don't remember that.
So all I had was the flour mill and maybe some of the background buildings.
Yes, you did have some of the black background buildings. Yes,
Okay.
remember them, but a lot of work. Um, as Steve tells me, he only works about an hour or so a day on it, so he gets a lot accomplished, and I'm impressed, Steve. Not just
Well,
patting you on the back.
I plan things out. All right. Like you and I were talking before the show about what I'm going to do on the passenger cars. Okay. And that I might not even start the first of those for a year. I just, first I got to plan it out. Then I got to acquire all the parts because there's nothing worse than starting something and not having everything you need. That just drives me crazy. So.
Well, and it's like you and I were talking before the broadcast about, lighting your passenger cars. I was going to do the same thing with my cabooses. I had got all the parts I needed and was ready to go. Well, I couldn't find the bronze wipers to get the track power on. Now, something Steve's talking about doing is using brass tubing to go around the axles, which I hadn't thought about doing. And maybe I'll try
I
one of
think it'll be far less drag because I've had wipers in the past, and to have wipers be um, reliable, they have to be fairly a thicker gauge than just the real thin stuff, so that you can get enough tension on it to make the contact.
Mhm.
The brass tubing, on the other hand, it's always going to be in contact. And if you put a tube on each axle and then tie those together with a wire and then run the wire up through maybe even through and I got to think about it, if I can find some tiny little itty bitty nuts, because all my passenger cars are all the old Athearn bev bells. And, if I put the long screw down through there and put a couple nuts, then I can attach the wire there and do the same thing on the top, on the inside, have electrical conductivity all the way through.
And then what?
So
Have the screw actually take the power from the axles up into the passenger car?
Yeah,
Is that what you're
yeah,
talking?
into the shell. Yeah, exactly. On each side, you know.
Yeah. I think the only thing you'd have to make sure that didn't happen was the tube go past the insulator for the one side of the wheel.
Yeah, you got to be. That's you and I were talking. I had my caliper out, and you and I were talking about the size of the tube. That tube can't be wider than the insulating bushing between the axle and the flange on the one side
Hmm.
to maintain that separation, that isolation from one rail to the other.
Yeah. And
So
I don't know if you could, well, use some, maybe, I don't know,
I
you
just got to
can.
get some brass tubing and play with it. You know,
Yeah.
because like I was, I mentioned earlier about that cement car, uh, having Jason possibly turn it into a sound car for me. I'd probably try it out on there first to run the electrical up through.
Yeah.
Um, that way he would have two places to attach. For that matter, I could do it, but I'll let him do it.
Yeah.
I'll let him puff the blue smoke.
Uh, and
Uh,
I'm sorry, what, I don't think I heard what you're going to use that sound car for.
well, up in Aurora, the street scene,
Oh, yeah, okay. That I
that
missed that
that
part.
loco, that loco is so tiny,
Hmm.
and it's got a power, a keep alive in there. There is absolutely no room for any size speaker. So, I could put a sound decoder inside the hopper, which is what's always attached to that
Hmm.
one, and just do it that way.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And just use it, put it on the same address as the thingamabob,
Bernard,
and
read Bernard's comment there. I think the plastic tubing may create too much drag. I don't know that it would spin well with in
or
contact
for
with the
that
metal
matter,
or the
for that
tube.
matter, Bernard, I could take a look at the insulator uh, washers that Katie has. I don't know if they're the right size or not, but yeah, I'm not. That's an easy part of it. These red insulating washers,
Hmm.
um, they may not be big enough, but I'm sure I could find it. And, yeah, they're not big enough. Yeah, they might be. They
Oh,
might
okay.
be. But yeah, that part of the equation, I'm I'm just in the design phase right now. Okay, and I know that's the least of my worries. But yeah, it looks like the red insulating washers would work as well because yeah, I'd be afraid of the tubing too. I don't know that you get a clean enough cut, and you're running the risk of more. Uh, the coefficient of friction on metal is negligible compared to plastic on metal.
Correct. Yes.
Um,
But
and
Bernard was saying that.
that's why metal wheels are so much better than plastic wheels. Ooh, I I was doing something the other day. I brought my Capital Limited train out, and it used to be flawless, no problem. And I had a couple of cars that kept derailing. I'm going, what the hell? So I checked the gauging on them; they're fine. I'm going, what the hell's wrong? And I started looking at the wheels, and they looked fine. They looked smooth, but I took a little screwdriver and my tweezers, And I started to go around the plastic wheel, because it's plastic wheels on one side and metal on the other. And I started to go around the plastic wheels, and you would have thought it was a freaking truck retread. Okay, it just peeled off a full layer of grunge off that plastic wheel. Now the metal wheel was fine.
Yeah.
That plastic wheel literally had a whole layer on it. Well, that makes the flange effectiveness, next to nothing, or not, definitely not as effective. But so I started looking at all my old Athearn passenger cars, and you'd be surprised how many are like that.
Yeah. Need to change them wheels.
Absolutely, Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of washer may be necessary, Bernard. But if you look at an Intermountain wheel or a Walthers wheel or a Bachmann wheel with metal axles, they're all the same. Okay, I mean they are all identical. So I would bet they're all turned out of the same place. But on one wheel, we're probably not going to be able to see it.
Yeah, see the black.
You see the black ring? All right. So depending on the tubing size, and I think it's got to be a 4 millimeter, either a 3.5 or a 4 millimeter outside diameter. Okay. Outside diameter. And what did I do with my caliper? It disappeared. Hell, John, we just had the damn thing, didn't we?
Yeah, because you measured that. You measured the axle.
Where the hell did it go?
Well, usually it'd be in Chicago, but you've started working there and don't set your tools there as much.
No, I don't put any tools over there anymore.
And you were sitting right
yeah, I'm sitting where I'm sitting now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's sitting right here in front of me. And I'm probably looking right at it. And what the heck? Well, I do have a drawer right here, which is normally where I store it. When you put everything away, put everything in its place. But it's not in here. Did I put it in the wrong drawer? No. What the hell did I do? I am. What the hell?
Yeah, Jason, I had wished that my new house here would have had a basement. I would have already been designing and building for that. But yeah, basement has a lot of obstacles. But you can work around them.
Hey, obstacles are better. It is better to have a space with obstacles than not have a space.
That is true. I will agree with that.
Man, I do this with my glasses all the time too. I'll take my glasses off, and then I can't find them.
Or they're on top of your head.
Nope, not. I'm wearing them right now. Like my wife, she's talking to our daughter, and the daughter asked her a question. She goes, "Wait a minute, I gotta go find my cell phone so I can, look it up." And she's sitting there with the phone in her hand, talking to my daughter. My daughter said, "Mom, think about what you just said." Oh, crap. All right. Does anybody see it on camera anywhere? Yeah.
Not in this view. Yeah, Bernard, the box I buy from down at Zitnik's, when I have them send me one, usually I have them send me a box of wheels also. And it's in indescript box. It doesn't say anything. It's just a brown box. So I'm not really
Yeah.
sure what brand they are.
Well, these were Intermountains from Caboose Stop. Just came in a bag. Baggy.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Who's down with the wheels? Not where it belonged. Okay, what was I was going to try to measure that. Yeah, that plastic flange around the axle is about 5 millimeters.
Mm.
So as long as, and it's the axle itself is 2.5. So if the inside diameter of the tubing is 2.5, it'll probably be too tight. If the inside diameter, it may have to be a thin walled brass tube, because I think you can get the wall at 0.5 millimeter, which would be 1 millimeter for each side, half a millimeter each side,
Right.
and or you can get it at a quarter. So I'll have to look at that
Yeah.
because you can't. You want it tight, but you don't want it too tight. But at 4 millimeters, if the tube has a millimeter that it can go back and forth, if it's that loose, then it's going to short out because it'll be right at that 5 millimeter of the plastic insulator.
Yeah, but if you have the wires attached, if you're going to attach one wire to each tube on each axle,
Uh-huh.
and then connect them together to go to your um, screw that goes through into the inside of your car, how
Yeah.
would they be able to slide over that far? They'd be pulling on the wires
Well,
too. So,
it depends if you want slack in the wires or not. If you want it fixed, then you're getting back to a fixed tension. And if that tension is too a controlled tension, whereas if they free float, you don't have the tension or resistance on the wheels. That's the whole
well,
idea of having it free float, so that it's not putting undue resistance on the axles.
well, how much of the axle do you want the tube to be in contact with? Do you want it to be able to be the full width, or can you just leave it like on one side of it so it didn't have a chance to move over?
It, the tube will go like this on the axle.
Right. Yes.
Okay. If you fix the wire from one axle to the other axle and around the pin, all right, you're creating less free floating, and less free floating equals more resistance to the axle.
Mm, correct.
So again, I'm just when I finally get parts to make a prototype, I'll know more. Okay, but I'm not there yet. I'm just thinking.
Well, and as I told you, that's where I'm at. I have already bought all the parts that I need to light my cabooses, but I don't have the way to transfer the track power into the caboose. So I may.
Highways and byways. Jack wants to know if anybody has the link to highways and byways. Um, we'll see.
I think just do a Google search.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, very good.
Highway and Byways Model Railroad Graphics. Hang on, Jack. I'm getting it for you.
And Bernard,
Try that out, Jack.
Bernard, you know, whatever you're looking for, it's always in the last place you look.
Yeah, because you stopped looking.
Well, most people would. Not everybody does.
Yeah. The GTS. That's my answer. GTS. Google that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I ask my wife a question, that's exactly what she tells me. You know, Google could help you with that. So I stopped asking her. No problem, Jack, anytime.
So maybe if I get one of mine running before you do, I'll let you know how it works, Steve. I guess I'm a little farther than you are.
My caliper is back in to where it belongs. Although I had left it on, so I'm glad I just looked.
If it's like mine, it has an automatic shut off. If it doesn't, if you don't move it for a while, it automatically shuts off.
Trying to prepare for you know what. I don't know what. So I can't say it.
That's the way it goes.
Well, hell, we're time flies. Time flies. What did I get an invoice for? Oh, Ace Hardware. What else have I done? I showed you the platform, right? That I was working on.
You showed us the one for the camera that you were working on to go under the platform.
Right there in front of Union Station. This thing. I didn't show you that?
I don't know. I can't see what you're talking about.
This. I haven't painted it or anything. It's just a rough prototype.
Nope.
Oh, I got
can't
the wrong camera up.
Yeah, we can't see.
On the wrong camera.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you did show us that when you had the overall view. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, where you can set your tablet in.
You know, I've got these Lexan guard all over the layout. So the thing just sits anywhere I want. And gives me like a work platform. Because the JMRI manifest, I had used on the Kindle. And I do have to put a strip of Velcro across here to keep, just as a safety thing. But, and John, you know that I've got, I don't know if this is visible or not, probably not.
We can
sort
of see it. Yeah, but can't read anything on it.
No, and that's fine. It's got the same map, the layout. Hang on. As you know, John, that's the layout on JMI. And it's got all these weird color codes because some guy couldn't read the map without color codes. And,
I don't know who that guy was.
Yeah. And so it's not pretty, but it works. And all the red circles on it are the switches. And I can use the wireless mouse, all right, to throw the switches. But I can do the same. This is a touch screen. I can do the same thing here. So it shows up on the Kindle here through JMRI. All right. So that's what, there's different ways to throw the switches. Of course, you can do it on the throttle as well, but it's easier. Look at what switch you want to throw and throw it. Okay. And I know Dennis at was it Otter Valley, and I think it's Otter Valley. Anyway, he set up routes and he's got control buttons to preset routes. Well, I got that too, and you can do the same thing in JMRI, and I can preset routes. All right, and I've got a default route. Well, hell, how come it's not dragging it? Huh. Well, there it is. Okay. And if I go back, in where to go? Shoot, what did I just do? I screwed the pooch on that. There it is. Okay. So if I go here and I go to this, all right. So I got these routes available. All right. And so you set one thing and it'll change all the switches on that route. This one that I just threw is for the default. That's the one I hit when I power up the layout or right before I power down the layout. But it's got all these other ones. If I want to bring something out of staging one track, I hit this one, or 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So
I can't remember. Did you go over that when you were doing your JMRI?
Yeah,
okay.
It's in there.
Okay.
It's one of the tips of the day. Just run the JMRI playlist and take a look. You can find it that way.
Okay.
Desktop. Let's go back to desktop 1 as primary. Okay. All right. All right. Now what happened? Oh, that's what happened. Okay. Hang on. I need to come back over here now. I'm lost. And I need to go there. Okay. So we're back. So what else is going on, guys and gals? Don't forget Anthony Dodge is at 3:30 Eastern. And, I got another message from Lynn. What did Lynn say? Lynn said, yeah, Lynn and I were having a discussion about how retirement, the biggest challenge in retirement is trying to remember what day of the week it is. And I swear to God, I've said this before. I used to give my dad hell, all right, when he was retired, and call him and hell, my wife and I drove like 1,200 miles down here to visit some friends down in Fort Myers, outside of Fort Myers. And my dad and his significant other, stepmom, so to speak, lived right there in Fort Myers. So I called my dad. I said, yeah, you want to have dinner on whatever night? And sure. Okay. Well, we'll meet at such and such a place. Okay. We'll meet you there. We went 20 minutes after the designated time he was supposed to be there. He hadn't shown, and he was Mr. Punctuality. So I called him up. I said, Dad, how long is he, where are you at? And he says, well, I'm at home. And I said, well, what the hell are you doing there? He says, well, where am I supposed to be? I said, you're supposed to have met me for dinner 20 minutes ago. And he said, what day is today? Shit.
I can resemble that remark nowadays. Yeah.
So every time he started giving me hell, I said, "Well, at least I remember to keep a dinner appointment."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Drove 1,200 miles to meet you for dinner, and you were a no-show."
Uh,
Oh,
yeah, that's the way it goes. But I've enjoyed being retired. I'm used to working two and three jobs at a time. Different jobs, not tasks within a job, but different jobs. And
Jack, the only way I know it's Friday is my reminder went off to set up my StreamYard Friday Live show. That's the only way I knew it was Friday. And you guys are going to think it's terrible. Just wait till you retire. I swear to God. Biggest challenge in retirement is figuring out what day it is.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I will agree with that. I basically retired when my wife started her breast cancer treatment, and um, my former company let me go because I did not meet their anticipations of what I was going to do, which was, take
They just wanted a fall guy so that they
yeah,
could tell.
take
This is
a
why I'm
project
doing.
that's 4 months behind and it's only been going for 4 months, and get it back up to speed in 4 months when you couldn't get the pipe you needed for 12 months. You know, it, they, I think really they did not in their office want somebody to run that project. I think they were told by upper management that they had to have somebody run the project. So they decided just to use me as a good old scapegoat.
Yep.
Because there's absolutely nothing I could have done about it. I don't care how good a project manager you are. When you can't get something, you can't get something. Period.
Right.
And I'd never seen a project go like that. The project.
Jason. By the time 17.5 years goes by, they'll tack on another 3. They'll require you to work another 3. So get ready for it.
Yeah, see, I retired early at 62. So if
I
I wanted,
retired even earlier. I retired at 58.
I wanted to work until I was 65 or 67, and the job I'd got was only a 3 year construction project, which now it's probably going to be about 5 year construction project. That would have worked out perfect for me, but you know, at, at least it actually worked out for me because I was able to spend my wife's last time.
You see, Edward, you need to tire first before you retire.
Oh, believe me, I tire every day now. I was talking to one of my friends. Yesterday I just did servicing on two of my three pieces of equipment, and it wore me out because I was
I
getting
can.
down on the ground, getting back up, getting down on the ground, greasing some fittings, changing oil, changing air filter, blowing out radiators. You know, it
when
was
my
tiring.
when I get a ding, a notice of of a instant message, or my phone rings and it's 2:30 in the afternoon, I know exactly who it is. All
Not
right,
me.
I know exactly who it is. All right, it's that guy right there. All right,
No,
because
not me.
he knows at 2:30 I take a nap. And he
Yeah,
wakes my ass up.
I, I don't do that all the time. Occasionally.
All the time. I didn't
Yeah.
say you did it all the time. I said
Oh,
if I get a message or a phone call at 2:30, it's you.
okay. Well, that's only 1:30 my time, so see, I'm early. I've maybe done that 3 times. And usually it's a text
Uh-huh.
message to say, "Hey, can you talk now?"
I can now. Wide awake now.
See,
Might as well.
I'm the type of guy, I don't take naps. I've never taken naps, so I don't understand that. Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand, Bernard. I think I'm working harder now than I ever did. Anyway, after I get off here, I got to go mow a couple, 3 acres
Speaking of which,
before it rains.
we're quickly approaching our
Or 2 hours.
2 hour limit. My 2 hour limit,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, government jobs must be nice.
Well, I worked for Pinellas County government for 20 years. I did pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
could have done better on the outside, but I also rarely worked more than 45 hours a week. Some
Shoot, I
of
used to
those
work
consultant
70 to
jobs,
80 hours.
yeah,
I'd work 70 to 80 hours a week.
yeah, we don't do that in government jobs. Sometimes they
In the
like you
private,
to.
in the private sector, when you're salaried, you work as many hours as it takes to get the job done.
Yeah, see, I was salary too, but I only worked. I may come
Oh
in
yeah,
early every
pension plans in companies, the private sector, have been going away since the 80s. Ever since they came up with the 401k in the 80s, more and more plans have gone bye-bye. I was fortunate enough that two of the companies that I worked for, one I worked for over 20 years, the other one I worked for 6 years, had pension plans. But you couldn't take those. One I couldn't take till I was 65. The other one I could take at 62 at a greatly reduced rate. But my 401k is what got me through from 58 to 62. So
Yeah, see, I've got Social Security, of course, but I've also got Florida State Retirement System pension.
right,
Um,
I get Social Security, Social
yeah,
Security and two pensions.
yeah. I only
So
get I get two, but my VA uh, is not that much,
yeah,
um,
uh,
which I'm
it doesn't
working
matter
on.
how many
But
pensions you get; it's how many years worth on the pensions it is. So I had over 25 years, but on the two pensions, and they were both similar in how they were financed, accrued. So yeah, I never got compensation time. You do. You get hell. The one company I had over 5 weeks vacation. I was lucky to be able to take 3.
yeah, I ended up when I left Pinellas County, I had over 450 hours of leave time built up, which I got a nice check for. But government
Yeah.
really hits you hard then. But um, it wasn't bad. I was getting almost 5 weeks of leave a year, being there 20 years. So it
I didn't know that's who you work for, Jack. Jack. Hell, I wish I would have known. I got more crystalline pipe buried in my yard than you can shake a stick at. Not just sprinkler lines. I got all the plumbing for the pond,
hmm,
wet bar. Yeah, I got crystalline pipe everywhere. So I'm contributing to your well-being, Jack. Jack.
and
Not
Jack
just at
Jack
this house, but
the pipe I was waiting for at my last job that we couldn't get was 10-inch ductile iron pipe. There was none around. In fact, I just saw them get it in
uh,
February.
my pleasure, Jack. Jack. I'm glad it went to a. I'm glad my money went to a good person. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you help support if you bought groceries at any independent retailer in Texas, um, or let's see, we also serviced Albertsons. Trying to remember some of the ones that we serviced. All the IGAs, all of your independents in Texas. David's supermarkets, mini maxes in the old days. Um, what was the one in Tom Phone's? Randall's. Um, just about. I mean, a good majority of supermarkets in Texas. So.
I don't remember that, but Jack,
HEB. My wife worked for HEB, Ray Ron, there in San Antonio at the corporate headquarters. The distribution center I started at with Fleming Companies was just down the street from the big HEB distribution center off of Riddiman Road, down on Great Fair, corner of Great Fair and Industry Park. There was a large Fleming Companies warehouse. That's where I started out at. And then I got promoted up to the corporate offices in Oklahoma City. Then was up there for 10 years. Then I got promoted further and was division president in Dallas, the general merchandise division. And then we're closing that. And Fleming was having issues, so I left the company. I took a package, 20-year package, left the company. Yeah, we used to service a lot of Albertsons, Bernard, before they started self-distributing. Now I live in Tampa Bay, Jack, but I started with Fleming in San Antonio. That's where I met my wife. And then I went to Oklahoma City. I was in San Antonio for 8 years. I grew up in Chicago, suburban Chicago. Graduated from Iowa State. Spent 8 years in San Antonio, 10 or 11 in Oklahoma City, then 4 in Dallas, and then a year in Wisconsin. I was a fixer. Company used to send me around to troubled divisions to fix them. Yeah, Tampa, the retirement city. Yeah, it's. I tell you what, you can't beat the weather. Everybody says, "Oh, it's so hot in Florida." I have newsflash: it's never been 100 degrees in the Tampa Bay area.
No.
There's never been a recorded 100-degree day in modern history since I started keeping track in Tampa Bay. Okay. Now, I grew up in Chicago. There were 100-degree days every summer. So, and sub-zero days every winter. In the 6 years I've been here, I can count the number of days it was below freezing on one hand. You cannot criticize the weather in Tampa. People say, "Oh, but the hurricanes." Well, yeah, okay. I've been through 2 hurricanes. Okay. You want to know how many tornadoes I've been through in my life? 2 a year. Every year that I lived in Illinois, Iowa, Oklahoma. Right? That's just.
Well, and that's the thing. The only time you really get tornado warnings in Florida is when you have hurricanes coming in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I got to admit, Steve, I love the weather up here in Middle Tennessee. It's an acceptable blend. The winter, you still have winters, but they're not bad. No. And they're usually
by my standards, they're not bad. But the problem is nobody knows how to drive on the snow or ice, and they don't have the equipment to deal with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's much worse than what it needs to be.
Well, I just stay home. So,
There you go.
yeah, always make sure I have enough food and supplies to get through it. So,
I don't think either Tom or I are fishing buddies. He's into koi, and used to have a koi pond, and of course I have mine. So John's just down the street from Scale Train's new headquarters. They're in Tennessee, just north of Chattanooga.
well, aren't they moving?
Away?
Chattanooga, I can get to in about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, they just built their new place.
Oh, maybe that's it. Aren't they in like Sod Daisy or
Jack says Middleton, Tennessee.
Middleton? Yeah,
if that's just north of Chattanooga, then yes.
Yeah, I think it's down around Sod Daisy or Soddy Daisy or however they pronounce it.
I thought Bennett or I'll look it up. I'll Google that stuff. Actually, what I need to do is Scale Trains. ScaleTrains.com. Where they at? I don't have an account. I don't want that.
Let's see there. Free shipping.
Storefront. No, I don't want storefront. Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm not. I know Cleveland is south of me. I'm not sure exactly.
I'm looking it up.
I'm still kind of new to Tennessee, so I don't know where everything.
Yeah, it's just northeast of Chattanooga.
Okay.
Right up 75.
Okay, right off.
I was gonna say Benton, and actually Cleveland's closer than Benton.
Yeah, I don't. Do they have a storefront? Can you visit them, or is it just?
Yeah, you can go there.
Oh. Yeah, I'll have to take a trip down there one day.
I don't know if you can buy stuff there, but you can go there.
Yeah, that's something that I've always wanted is a Scale Trains made in CNEI colors. I would love to own some Scale Trains. They're
now,
very nice.
Who was it they bought? They bought Fox Valley tooling, right? And that's primarily N scale stuff. But didn't they buy somebody's HO scale MTH maybe? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
I bet you Jack knows. They left Benton. Okay. They went to Cleveland. Okay. I knew Benton was in there somewhere. I would love to get a Scale Trains. All right. I would get it DCC ready so I could drop in a soundtracks to Tsunami. But I'd love to get, but they don't. I have not seen anything CB and Q out of Scale Trains. Most everything I see is more modernist.
Yeah, that's just it. I like that, Athrons and Atlas are starting to reissue or do special orders, even though it takes forever to get them. But doing some of the older railroad schemes.
And in fairness to the manufacturers on the pre-ordering, I hate it. Okay, I hate waiting long periods of time. But in fairness to them, it is a far more economical practice because they can then figure out how big their production runs need to be because they're going to buy whatever the pre-orders are plus X. Mm-hmm. And It's a better way of or more productive, cost effective way for them to operate. So I mean, if you look at how much new old stock is still out there for old protos, lifelike protos, for old blue boxes, where the manufacturers didn't have a clue. So they would order all this stuff and then they have to warehouse it for 20 years or more. Okay. That's just not, very productive. And when everybody complains about how the costs are going up, well, the pre-order process is an attempt to limit how much it's going up.
And there's something that I wish they would do is like take my GP7s from Atlas that I'm getting. Why not issue them with all the striping and everything on them, with the logo, but just don't number them and add in a pack of numbering
Decals.
for the
Yeah.
decals for the engines? They could sell more that way.
Well, here's the deal. Some people don't know how to decal.
But that still should be a way they offer it. Offer with all the decals on it that you need except numbers. Because then you can make it any number you want. There's plenty of decals out there.
Bernard says some of us won't live long enough for the pre-orders. I hear you, Bernard. It took 2 years for me to get my Rapido E8, which is actually E9.
And I ordered my Atlas GP7s November of 2021. So this November will be 2 years.
If it's a new kit, first issue, the lead time on those is over 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, no, they've produced Atlas Classic GP7s before.
No, I know, but people saying, well, 2 years is a long time, and I said, no, when you're doing the tooling, okay, and then you got to do you got to come back and look at the tooling, then you run a production a test run, so to speak, and then you got to look at that, and there's things to fix on that, and then you go back, you redo this, you redo that, all right. Then you get into the actual production run, and then somebody finds something else. I'll hand it to Scale Trains. As far as company integrity goes, you can't beat them. All right. I just applaud their integrity and customer service.
Yeah.
All right, we're well past my 2-hour witching hour limit. So, hey everybody, I want to thank you. What's a lie? What's a lie?
I don't know. I was trying to look
somewhere.
I don't know how far back up it went, but Jack was
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Fox Valley did some HO, but they primarily were N-Scale. And I thought it was, thank you, I think it was Jack that verified that MTH is the HO that they got. Where did you put it? I thought somebody said it. Somebody said it? Yeah, there it is. Oh, Jason said it. Okay. Anyway. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining John and I here at Friday Live and Mail Call. And I know Anthony's on at 3:30. I assume Vinny's on at 8 o'clock tonight. And I'm sure there's others. So with that, y'all have a great day.
Take care, everybody.
Bye now.